Hey guys, it's Maggie and I am back today. Today is Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So I thought we would do just a fun, relaxed video talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is Camp Oasis. You may recognize this sweater from the last video, and that is because I'm actually filming this the day before Thanksgiving, because on Friday, the day after, I will be relaxing, as should you, because the holidays take a lot out of us, so I hope that you're just having a great Friday. If it's a regular old Friday for you, I hope it's not hectic. I hope it is calm and you can sail into the weekend no problem. Anyways, somebody shut me up. Let's talk about Camp Oasis. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with Camp Oasis, it is a camp in the United States that is for patients with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. I don't know if it's in other countries, or if it's in other countries, it might be named something different. I have no idea. It used to be named Camp Guts and Glory, I want to say, but when I went, it was Camp Oasis, and I do believe it's still called that to this day. I did not start going to camp when I was first diagnosed. I remember my GI doctor kind of, bringing it up with me, and I just really had no interest in meeting other people with Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm not even trying to acknowledge that I have it, so definitely not gonna make friends with people that have it. But circumstances happened, and I made friends in real life, like at school, that had ulcerative colitis. I don't know if I made any Crohn's friends, but I knew a few people with ulcerative colitis. So that kind of opened me up a little bit more to the idea of going to camp. So I went to camp when I was 15 or 16 for the first time, and it was actually the last year I could go as a regular old camper. I was definitely nervous. I was super nervous because it is, I think, 6 days or 7 days on your own. It's oftentimes the first time a child is going off on their own without their parents and having to manage some aspects of the disease. Mind you, they have a nurse, so that's the really neat thing, is that should you have any certain medical needs, you can go to camp with it. Like, that's kind of the point of the camp. So if you were on tube feeds, I remember being a little concerned because I was like off and on of tube feeds around that time. They were able to take people with tube feedings. You're able to do your injections at the nurse's office, and for pills, pretty much every kid there was taking pills, so it was a big joke. We'd all have our pills first for breakfast, and then we'd all be too full to eat. But yeah, we had to prepare our medications. I remember my dad getting these little baggies. I think they were actually provided by the camp. We got these little baggies, and he would separate out my doses. So he had, my morning Pentasa, Nexium, or whatever I was taking at the time. And then my nighttime, I want to say I took mercaptopurine at night. So all those doses that I would be taking throughout my week there were all separated out for me, and that way the nurse would come by and give us our pills in the morning. I was very nervous because I don't know if I'm shy, and I wouldn't say I'm introverted, but I am not like I don't go out and chat with people. I was super nervous, but that was the thing about camp. It was like, everybody kind of understood what was going on. Like, yeah, we all got pretty severe bowel issues, so that annoying thing that sometimes you have to cover with strangers was like already taken care of. So it was really easy to make friends, and make friends fast. This is a little bit funny. It's the Camp Oasis, the location I went to, was decently far. I would say it was like an hour and a half from where I lived. And I remember my dad would drive me to this fire station, and the fire station is where a bunch of kids would meet up, and we would take a Greyhound bus to the actual campsite. So by the time I got there, it was like a 2.5 hour trip, which like looking back is so unnecessary. So this is gonna sound super stupid of me, but Zach and I were driving in the area when we first moved here, and I saw this big sign for Camp Nakamixon, which is the actual location of my camp. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. That's like the same name of the camp that I used to go to. It turns out I live super close to my camp. Didn't put two and two together for like half an hour, and then I realized, wait, I think that was my camp. So that's kind of cool. I live close to my camp now. I used to live super far. But yes, I remember arriving in the big Greyhound bus. I was like sitting with all these kids that I didn't know, and I was super shy. And we all got to our cabins, and now the cabins have bathrooms. They're like updated cabins. They're not great. They didn't have air conditioning or anything, but they were definitely a little bit better than I think maybe average cabins are. They kind of have to be because you have to have a good amount of bathrooms. There were so many activities at this camp. They've got 2 different lake areas. You could probably look it up. It's Camp Nakamixon. There were 2 different lake areas, and I remember one you could go like kayaking on or canoeing on or paddle boating on. There was a swimming section, and then on the other one there was oh my gosh, what's it called? It's a jet ski, pulls you on an inner tube. I'm gonna insert some photos as I'm talking about this. Anyway, I did that my first year. I remember being really afraid that I was gonna have an accident when we were doing that ride. I was this was like height of rectum problems for Maggie, so I was like so nervous that something bad was really gonna happen, but I was like, I'm literally with people who are also probably experiencing this and nobody's saying it. So, you know, it was what it was, but I got through it and I had an absolute blast anyway. And there were a bunch of different things. There was mini golf, there were gaga courts. So, okay, this is another thing. If you watch Bob's Burgers, I know not many people do. I think there was an episode on gaga, and a lot of people are like, oh, what a cool made-up sport. And it's not. It's a real thing. And so we had all these gaga courts that we would play gaga. Essentially, you're like in this box, and you have to like hit a ball at each other, and it has to hit somebody's feet to get them out. So yes, there was that. There was a dance, which was super fun, because I was like 15, 16 years old when I went to this. So that was always exciting, and I remember having a blast. I met this girl named Amanda. I don't talk to her anymore, but we like became BFFs. It was great. She was a really good friend. The funny thing about that first year though was that I really didn't feel good. I was at the peak of my problems, and in 2 months' time I would wind up getting a resection, which ultimately failed, and that's how I wound up with my ostomy. So the next year I went to camp as a leader in training, or an LIT, and you essentially get like the perks of being a camper, but you also have times where you are assigned to camper groups. So I remember a friend of mine, Christine, she and I were partners for the week, and we had our own group of kids that we were with. They were like maybe, I don't know, 10 or 11, and we were 17 at that point. And then we would have our own things that we would do with our group. But it was remarkable how much I came out of my shell the next year, just simply because I felt better. I gained so much more weight. I looked more appropriate for my age. It was just super interesting to see the contrast between the photos of the first year and the second year. And I would say the second year is really where I made long-term friendships. Camp Oasis, I would say, totally directed my pathway in life. So I had a few friends from camp. There was another one named Cassie, who I had become friends with the first year, and then we were LITs together the second year, and she was going off to college at the college I wound up going to, and I actually chose that university because of her. She highly recommended it. She was like, you gotta check out their nursing program. So I did, and that's how I wound up going where I did. And Cassie and I did a bunch of events together because we went to school together. We did stuff for Take Steps and the CCFA. We were MCs one year for the Take Steps walk. I think we were, the Honored Heroes. I don't know, we were on like a poster, I think, another year. And at the time, we both had ileostomies. I think she has since gotten hers reversed. But we took a cute photo with her bags. And I'm just blurring her face out because I don't know if she wants me putting that out there. She's talked about it online before, so. But yeah, I had another friend that I made the second year as an LIT. Her name is Marissa. She and I actually wound up working at the same hospital. She worked in GI research and I worked on the GI floor, so we would cross paths every now and then. Another friend from my first year wound up being a nurse on my floor for a little bit, so that was kind of cool. There was so much like crossover in real life. One of my favorite things from camp was this, I think it was a talent show. I guess that's how we wound up getting into it. Anyway, the LITs had to come up with some sort of performance, some kind of performance. And I remember all week we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. We picked one song and we made a dance and we were like, this doesn't feel right. And the whole point was to kind of be funny and get all the other campers laughing. So eventually somebody brought up the idea of dancing to Single Ladies. And we dressed up the guys real pretty, and they were really the stars of the show. You know, they had a lot of sass, and they were doing the Single Ladies dance. And then all of the girls, we were back up to them. So the whole camp was laughing, and it was a really good memory. The whole group bonded, and it was super neat. And both times that I left camp, I felt super... Is empowered the right word? I don't know. I felt super... just elated, like I had made so many friends. We would keep in touch throughout the year. I felt more empowered with my disease, even though the focus of Camp Oasis, it isn't like, let's figure out ways to better yourselves because of your disease. Nothing like that. It was basically, you're here to be a normal kid, okay? You're not sick. I mean, you are sick, and we can handle the things that you need to do to feel better, but you're a normal kid. You're going to go swimming. You're going to do everything. And they make it so you're able to do that. I loved that. I loved it so much. And even just a couple of years ago, my camp usually started in August. And I don't know if we had just moved in. I want to say we had just moved in that year. And I had found out that they, all of the counselors were going to get together a day before. I think they had to. They were required to be there a day before camp started. And they had invited me to come hang out with them as they were moving their stuff in and decorating their cabins. And that was really fun because I got to see a lot of old friends and new faces at the camp. A lot of the counselors there had actually been going for years, like a decade or more. So I didn't quite fit in that because I was only there for 2 years, but I still loved it. And I always recommend going, whether you're a kid, whether you're an adult and you want to be a counselor there. I know that they have nursing positions. I've considered applying for those too. And I so highly recommend it because you're going to make friendships that last. It's just the bee's knees. Also, if you've got another type of illness, like I have a nurse friend who has diabetes, and she went to diabetes camp. So there are all different types of camps that are like this. So please look it up, see if there's something available. I do know that times are weird right now, and camp was transferred to this online thing. I'm hoping in the future it comes back to in-person camp, because I think nothing beats that. Nothing beats human-to-human interaction. It is needed. So keep your eyes on their website. It's run through the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. I wanted to say of America, but I think it's just CCF now. It's run through them, so you can find it on their website and keep up to date. And you can even try the online version if that's what they're going to do this summer. I'm not really sure. I do believe that counselor applications open sometime in January, February if they are planning to do in-person camp, so keep your eyes out for that. But yes, those are kind of my thoughts on Camp Oasis. I don't know if there were any specific questions that you may have about camp. I'm more than happy to answer in the comments below. Just type it out there and I'll respond because camp's great. Love camp. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this fun video, and I hope that you are relaxing and having a good start to the weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.